I hope that this is working. So if you could just write comments, please. Oh, something just popped up on my screen. Hello, I think I'm live now. If you could just write in the comments. Morning, class. I hope that it's fantastic to be back again in the virtual village hall. Can't believe it's been nearly a year now of being part of this fantastic programme. So I'm really looking forward to this morning in the virtual village. This morning is a Swan Leg. Let's see. Yes, I am working. Phew. It's all working fine. So we're just going to do a general ballet class, and then we'll do a little bit of repertoire from Swan Leg to finish off. So I'll just while waiting for everybody just to kind of join in, I'll just explain a little bit about Silver Swans. Silver Swans is an initiative of the Royal Academy of Dance, and they are ballet classes specially designed for the over 55s. It's really good for your balance, your mobility, posture, coordination. I think it's fantastic because it's not like going to a gym or something like that. It's exercising without realizing that you're exercising, because you get so caught up in the music and the movement that it's just absolutely fantastic. So I'm Johanna, and I'm Silver Swans licensee. I'm actually just north of Manchester. And it's been wonderful being a part of the virtual village hall. We've done lots of themed sessions, and I do teach Silver Swans regularly, both in Bury and now currently my classes are online. So it's fantastic being a part of them. So just before we begin, if you can just have a quick check around you, check the obstacles on the floor, check that you've obviously wear on. Don't need anything particular for the session. All you do need is just something to use as a ballet bar. So something nice and sturdy, like a dining room chair. Just something that won't wobble over. That's the best thing to use as a replacement ballet bar. I've got my dining room chair. And just some water as well. Remember, only do what you know it's safe for you to do. The thing about Silver Swans is that you can always modify, take a break whenever you need to, and just have some water as well ready. Okay, so we're just going to start off. This is just like how I would teach my normal Silver Swans class. We've got 2 warm-ups to begin with, and then we go into our bar work, and then we come into the centre, we do some centre work, and then we'll do a little bit of repertoire from Swan Leg to finish off. Okay, so we'll just start off with our warm-ups, nice and straightforward. You can easily just follow along with these warm-ups. Around our room. If you haven't got enough space to walk around your room, right, let's give it a go. Okay. So, walking round. So, like I said, if you haven't got enough space, then you can always walk. Okay, now slowly up. And bring them down. And up. And down. And up. Now everybody into the middle, feet together, hands in front. And we're going to bend and stretch. And bend. And stretch. And bend. Taking both hands behind you. And into the middle, both hands behind you. And into the middle. Now swaying to the side. Nice big bend and stretch. And bend and stretch. And bend and stretch. Bend and stretch. Keep moving your arms. One more sway. Feet together. Breathing in. And breathing out. Okay, good. Right, I'm just going to take off my jacket. Already warm. It's made such a difference now. This weather's gone so much warmer, hasn't it? Right. Those are ballet bars, so I'm just going to move my ballet bar back a little bit, just so you can see my feet. So like I said, just something sturdy that won't wobble over. So just before we begin, I'm just going to go through some of the basics. So ballet, a lot of the terms that we use in ballet are in French. So you're learning French as well as ballet. We have 5 basic positions of the feet. Today we're going to use 2 of them for our first exercise. But before we do that first exercise, I'm just going to do a little warm-up just for your feet, and it's really going to teach you how to use your feet in different ways, and also it does kind of warm them up as well. So, facing your ballet bar with your feet together, we're going to go to our demi-point and then so demi-point, and then to a fully pointed foot, demi-point and down. So we're going to use this later on. And demi-point and down, demi-point to a point, demi-point and down, same again. Then we're going to point our foot to the front, flex our foot, really push it, feel a nice gentle stretch. And then closing in, pointing and flexing, and pointing, closing in, pointing and flexing. As you point your foot, try and really ripple through your foot. Really warm your feet up a lot more. And flexing, and really help with mobility in your feet as well. Okay, so we'll just do that just to get our feet moving a little bit more, and I'll just be referencing this exercise later on as well. Okay, so facing your bar for our second warm-up. And demi-point to a point, demi-point and down, demi-point to a point, demi-point and down. Demi-point, now pointing and flexing, and point and flex, and pointing, closing in, and pointing and flex, pointing, closing in. Ripple through your foot. Okay, good. Optimistic for us there this morning. That's another thing about a ballet class. If we have anybody joining in today who has done ballet before, ballet classes many years ago that used to be very classical focused. Nowadays in ballet classes we use all sorts of music. It's all played on the piano and in the style of the exercise, but we get pop music, musicals. We do get the classical ones as well. Our next exercise is going to use a piece from Sleeping Beauty. So it's a really lovely mix of positions of the feet for our next exercise, which is called our plies. So plie means to bend, and it's one of the most basic movements for a dancer. It's one of our core foundation steps. So if you feet together, now your turn out for a dance. So it's the whole of your leg that's rotated out. Force our feet outwards. You want it to be nice and comfortable. So we think of your feet as 10 to 2, even 5 to 1 on a clock. Okay, just at a nice comfortable right angle. That's ideal. But of course, if you want to make it a little bit less, then that's also fine. So this is first position. And now if you put a little space between your feet, this is second position. Now, for second position, we've still got our legs rotated outwards. Absolutely matching. Make sure you haven't got one foot more turned out. Weight is evenly distributed between both feet. Don't have your weight more on one leg than the other. We want absolute 50-50 over both of your feet. Okay? So we're going to face our ballet bar now for this exercise. So while we're holding onto our ballet bar, just take a moment. We'll just talk about how we stand at our bar. We don't want to be too close because then your elbows are too bent, which will start to affect your balance. And if we're too far away, that will also affect your balance, and we can tell that because your elbows go straight. You want to stand where your elbows just have a nice soft curve, and that's the best place for your balance and for your weight placement when you're doing an exercise at the bar. So with your feet in first position, we're now going to bend our knees and stretch them. So I'm bending and stretching. I'll just turn to face the camera so you can see what I'm doing there. So I'm making a nice diamond shape with my legs. So my knees are tracking over my toes. If you're struggling to track your knees over your toes, just bring your feet in a little bit. Okay, it's really important that you do have them tracking over. So we're going to take 2 demi-plies in first. Demi meaning half, plie meaning to bend. So demi-plie and stretch. Keeping a nice straight back. Demi-plie and stretch. Now we're going to go into a little rise, so just a little lift of your heels and lowering down. And when you take that rise, it's important ankles being a nice straight line. We don't want to push out onto our little toes because that will really start to weaken. Keeping it in that nice straight line actually will strengthen them. How high you lift your heels, you can go all the way up if you want to, or even just a small lift. Either are very strengthening. Then we'll point our foot to the side and go to second position, and we'll repeat it again in second. Then out over your toes and bending and stretching, ready for your rise, rising up, lowering down, and then we'll point our foot and go back to first position to repeat again. Demi-plie and stretch, demi-plie and stretch, rising up. Use our other leg to go to second position. Same in second, demi-plie and stretch, keeping that nice straight back. Demi-plie and stretch, rising up, lowering down, and then we'll close into first to finish off. So really all the time, we talk so much about our posture in a ballet class. Think of a helium balloon trying to float upwards, your head are the weight, and they're staying very grounded. So you've got this lift constantly. Even as you're bending, that helium balloon is still trying to lift upwards. Okay, let's give it a go with music now for our plies. And we've got some music from Sleeping Beauty. Okay, so demi-plie to begin. And demi-plie. And stretch. Plie. And stretch now into a rise. Lowering down, now we'll go to second position. Just check your weight is equal and both feet are matching. And stretch, knees going over your middle toes. And stretch, rising up. And lowering down, now closing back to first, and we'll repeat with the other side. And plie, keeping that nice straight back. And plie, and stretch, rising up, lowering down. Now we'll go to second with our other leg. Check that your feet are equal. Plie, and stretch, plie, and stretch, rising up, lowering down, and then we'll close into first to finish. So now we're going to do our second exercise, well, second official exercise at the bar, which is called battement tonjes. Now, battement tonjes sounds, all it is pointing and closing your feet. So battement tonjes is really good for developing, good for improving mobility in your feet. So going back to thinking about the way how we were using our feet on that warm-up, where we were going to our demi-point to a... Remember, there's different parts of your foot that you were going through as we do this exercise now. So, facing your ballet bar, doesn't matter which foot, point our foot to the front, and it's going to be quite a slow battement tonje. So I'm going to point my foot to the front, and then I'm going to slide it back in again to first position. And what I really like to think about using is what we will call articulated footwork. And this is what really develops the muscles in your feet. So the demi-point to a point that they were doing in the warm-up, so we're keeping our toes on the floor, your heel lifts, and then the last thing to point is your toes on the end. And then to come back in again, it's your toes at the end, and then your heel comes in contact with the floor and slides in. Okay, don't worry if you don't get it, if it's your first session today. It's something that takes a lot of practice to really find that use and flexibility in your feet. Okay, so we're going to take one slow battement tonje, slowly to the front and slowly back in. Then we'll do one quick one, quick and in. Then we'll take a demi-plie and stretch, and we'll repeat with the other leg. Slowly to the front. We want it to be in front of your hip and shoulder. And one. Demi-plie and stretch. Now we're going to repeat it to the side. So pointing your foot to whereabouts it was in second position, one slow, closing in, One quick, closing in, demi-plie and stretch. Other leg, one slow, going through your foot and bringing it in, and a quick and close, demi-plie and stretch. So the way how you were using your foot in that slow battement tonju, try and, even when it goes to the quicker tonju, try and use your foot exactly, sliding out to a point and sliding back in again. Okay, let's face our ballet bar now, and we'll take our battement tondus, going devant, which is to the front, and à la seconde, which is going to the side. Okay, thinking about your posture. Okay, slowly point your foot to the front, slowly point, and close it in. Now quicker, and quick, closing in, demi-plie. Now it's the turn of your other leg, going devant to the front, and closing in, quicker, and quick, closing in, demi-plie, closing in, now going to the side, and closing in, and pointing, and closing, bending and stretching one more time, and going to the side, and closing in, quicker, and tonju, and close, demi-plie, and finishing off. Okay, good, so hopefully that just got our feet moving a little bit more. For dancers, the bar work is basically like gradually a continuation of the warm-up almost. We build stuff up in speed. Starts off with your slow plies, your tonjus, that have a mixture. Sometimes you can have them slow, sometimes quicker. Our next exercise is going to be a little bit more all about speed and accuracy. Okay, so this step is called a battement frappe. Now you're probably right now thinking of a drink called a frappe. For dancers, it's a step, it means to strike. And it's very good for, as I said, improving your speed and accuracy. So we're going to face our ballet bar for this. And we're going to have our feet in third position. So if I just put my feet into first, and if you can bring one foot across in front, so the heel of your front foot is in contact with the middle of your back foot. And that's third position. Excuse me, I feel like I need to sneeze. No, it's alright, it's gone now. You can either have either foot in front in third position. You've got one foot in front, and then, or you can have the other foot in front. It's always the heel of your front foot in contact with the middle of your back foot. Okay, so facing your ballet bar, there you go, in the first 15 minutes, you've learned 3 of the 5 positions of the feet in a ballet class. So, feet in third, we're going to begin by lifting up your front foot. Heel is on your ankle bone, and you want your foot to be in a nice flat line. Whereabouts we're pointing our foot out to the side, that's whereabouts we're aiming for. So with your heel on your ankle bone, we're going to point our foot directly to the side and hold it, okay? So you think it was being like a dart going onto a dartboard. It's on your ankle and then it points out. Now we're going to close it in at the back of your ankle. So again, my heel is at the height of my ankle bone, and then it's going to go to a point again. Flex to a point, flex to a point, okay? Just be careful, make sure that it's a point at the side and a flex when you're on your ankle. So it's a bit of a coordination one, you know. So heel on your ankle bone, going to a point, to a flex, to a point. Now this is a bit more of a preparation for a battement frappe that we're doing today, because today's session is suitable for absolute beginners, so I'm explaining everything from the start. But this is the basics for learning a battement frappe. So facing the bar, feet in third, lifting up your front foot. We're going to take 3 battement frappes going to second. Out and hold, and in, and out and hold, and in. One more, out and hold, and in. Now, if you just slide that foot down, you'll find that you've arrived in third position. And you can lift up your other foot at the front. And now we can repeat it with the other leg. Pointing, and in, and pointing, and in, and pointing, and in. Put it down. Now, you will find with this exercise that you do travel slightly further back, so it's fine to start a bit closer towards your ballet bar for this. Okay, and if you need to midway through, you can always shuffle back in towards your ballet bar. Okay, so let's give this a go. We've got a little bit of musical theatre now for our next piece of music. So feet in third. Lifting up your foot and pointing. And to the back. Pointing. And flexing. Pointing. And flexing. Put it down now. Lifting up your leg. Keep lifting tall. And pointing. And flexing. And pointing. And flexing. And point. And flex. Put it down. Now it's your time for your other leg. Let's go again. And pointing. And flexing. And point. And flex. Taking it straight out to that point. And in. Putting it down. You're still lifting up. One last time. And Tonjes. And in. Out to a point. And in. Out. And in. And putting it down. Okay, good. Right. So for our final exercise at the ballet bar, we're going to do one called grand battements. So for this, we're going to actually do it with one hand on the bar. So let's turn my chair around now so you can see me a bit better. We'll have our feet in first position. Now, normally in a ballet class, whenever we do anything with one hand on the bar, we'll dance it on one side, so we're using one leg more often. And then we'll turn around and repeat it on the other side. But of course, that causes problems when we're doing online classes. So I've choreographed this exercise so that it will keep facing, so you can keep facing the camera and keep following along with the video. So we're going to use both legs in this exercise. So feet in first position. Again, we'll just take a moment to talk about how we stand at the ballet bar, because it is slightly different, obviously, because we've got one hand on the bar now. So if you're using a chair like me, it's best if you pop yourself just slightly behind the edge of your chair. Then your hand can go in the middle of the chair. So we want this hand to be in front of us. If it's directly to the side, or even definitely going behind us, it will really start to affect your balance. So keeping that hand in front of you means that your shoulders can stay nice and square, and you can stay very open, which of course helps with your breathing and your posture. Your other hand is just going to go onto your hips. And again, what we want is your elbow pointing round to the side. If your elbow starts wandering around the back, then that's going to affect this shoulder, which will in turn affect your balance, especially for this exercise, because it is going to involve doing steps on one leg. So feet in first. So I'm going to teach you the basics of a grand battement first of all, and then I'll introduce the full step to you. So we're going to use our outside leg, the leg furthest away from your ballet bar. I'm going to point it to the front, just like I did in my battement tonju. I'm going to lift it up, lower it to a point, and closing in. Have a go with your other leg as well, pointing and lifting and pointing and closing. All the time I'm keeping straight legs, and that's really important, especially as you go into that lift of your leg. The height that you lift that leg to is always set by you. Even if you just want to take it as a small lift off the floor, that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to turn that now into a full grand battement. So that went through 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to now imagine that you're connecting together the first and second point. So instead it's going to go swish, point, close. And we definitely want it to go to the full extension of your leg before it lifts off the floor. It shouldn't just appear in the air. By allowing it to go along the length of the floor, think of it as being a little bit like an aeroplane that has to go along the runway before it takes off. That's like your leg. We're wanting a swish and point and close. Okay, and that is your full grand battement. So we're going to take 3 grand battements with your outside leg, and then a plie, 3 grand battements with your inside leg, and then a plie. So outside leg to begin, swish and point and close, swish and point and close. One more, and point and close. Then we'll take a demi plie and stretch. Swish and a point and a close and a wait and a swish and a point and close and a swish and a point and close. Demi plie and stretch, and then we'll repeat it again. But as always with Silver Swans, if just doing the 1 repetition is enough, then you can always just stop after you've taken it once on each leg. Always work these classes to whatever is right for you. Okay, so let's give our grand battements a go. Feet in first position. Outside leg, swish and a point and close. Swish and a point and close. more. And demi-plie. Now your inside leg. Switch and point and close. Switch and a point and close. And a switch. Demi-plie. Now let's go again. Outside leg. And switch and a point. Keep lifting tall. Keep lifting up. Like lifting up, that really frees up the movement around your hip. And plie. And stretch one last time. Double. And wrong back on double. One last one. And demi-plie. And stretch. Okay, good. So that finishes off our bar work. So if you want to pop your ballet bars away, have a drink of water, and then we'll come back into the centre. Oh, I've lost my drink of water. It's here. Okay, so it would be fantastic if you pop in the comments whereabouts, where you're joining in the session from today. It would be wonderful to hear that. Have you done ballet before? Or is this your very first experience of a ballet class? It would be really lovely to hear from you. Just pop it in the comments. If you have any questions about Silver Swans as well, pop them in the comments, and I'll go through at the end of the session. I'll go through and answer any questions you might have. But it'd be great to hear whereabouts you're joining in from today. And as well, it would be great to hear as well, have any, obviously because today's session is based around Swan Leg, we're going to do a little bit of repertoire from Swan Leg. Have you seen Swan Leg? Do you have a favourite ballet as well? That would be great to hear. Swan Leg is just amazing. I think it's the music that is just so magical and just really just finishes off what is just a spectacular ballet. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is an exercise in the centre called a port de bras. Port de means carriage of, and your bras is your arm. So it's all about your arm movements. This is the moment in the class where the dancer can really work on beautiful arm shapes, positions, movements, the musicality, the artistry, the posture, which is really important, especially dancers take so much time working on their arms in advance of a production of Swan Leg. So we're going to learn in this port de bras some of the basic positions, but also we will be, there's just a few little bits in there which are going to repertoire. So we'll come into the centre and we'll start off with our feet in first position. So we'll just go through some of the basic positions. So we have hands in bras bar. So bras bar is an oval shape for your arms. I'll just come a bit closer to the camera so you can see. So with your, it's an oval shape. We've got quite a bit of space just around your arms. Elbows are pointing to the side, and your hands are about as wide apart as your face. Because this way we can keep our arms and our shoulders nice and open all the time. We want that lifted feeling from here. So keeping your arms in that same shape, that's bras bar, which means low arms. Keep your arms in the same shape and lift them up so that they're opposite your waist. And that's first position. If you keep your hands travelling upwards, that's fifth position. And now if we open them out to the side, I'll just move that way. Oh, no, that way a little bit more. Sorry, I see it in reverse on my camera. This is second position. So for second position, we want to make sure that our arms are actually curved a little bit in front of us. You can just see there, I've got actually my arms have curved forwards. We never want our hands to go behind us because that's going to start to affect your balance. So keep your weight forwards, arms in front of you. We talk about shortening your front and lengthening your back. Your weight is always further forwards. That's just for your balance in everyday life as well as in a ballet class. Your balance is always further forwards over the balls of your feet. So with your arms in second, we always keep your hands in front. And back to bras bar. So I've taught them a little bit out of order, those positions, but that's, so we've got first, second. Now I'll just add in third position. So for third position, bring one arm back to first. So, easy way to think about that. 1 and 2 makes 3. So that is your 3rd position. And then we have 5th. We don't need to know 4th position for today's class. Just another position I'm just going to throw in there is hands in demi-second. It's a little bit like you've got your hands resting on the edge of a tutu. And you've got your hands just a little bit in front of you as you're in that. Okay, so let's start off with our port de bras. So hands in bras. We're going to take our arms to first, then slowly out to second, and down. We want to keep our shoulders nice and relaxed all the time. Arms first, up to 5th, second, and now try and bring your right hand in front, because we're now going to walk round in a little semicircle to go exactly where you've come back to exactly where you are. So your right hand is in front. Leave your arms in that 3rd position as you walk round. Doesn't need to be on the beat of the music, just a few steps. And from there, now we're going to lift our hands up to a position called open 5th. And it's basically like a V shape with your arms, with your palms down. We get this a lot in Swan Leg. And then we'll lower them back down to bras bar to repeat it on the other side. First, out to second, and slowly down. Arms first, to 5th, shoulders down. Second, bring your left hand in front. Then we're going to walk round to the left. Walking round, feet into first, taking your hands up and lowering back down. So it's important to remember that as I'm teaching this, it's a mirror image. Just makes it a little bit easier to follow along. When we're walking as dancers, we actually try and walk with our big toe leading instead of our heel. Normally when you're walking down the street or anything, it's your heel that leads. But as dancers, we walk with our big toe leading and we kind of ripple through our foot, a little bit like we were talking about in our battement tonjes and our warm-up, about rippling through your feet as you're just walking round. So that's how dancers walk, with a stretched foot in front. Okay, so let's give this port de bras a go with music. So feet in first. Okay, arms first to second. First, to second, and slowly down. First to 5th. Now bringing your right hand in front, and you're going to walk round to the right. And taking your hands up to open 5th, and we'll lower back down to bras. Arms first, out to second, and down. First to 5th, opening to second, bringing your left hand in front, walking to the left. And taking your hands up, and lowering them back down again. Good. Okay, so that's our port de bras. I'm now going to go on to your swan leg. So if you want a little drink of water just before we begin, I'm just going to quickly grab a drink. Okay. So, Swan Leg. One of the most iconic ballets. Music by Tchaikovsky, absolutely stunning. Beautiful staging. It's normally like one of the core pieces of repertoire for any ballet company. Just going to play you the music that we're going to be dancing to today. So. Okay, so this is Odette's solo from Swan Leg. It's a beautiful moment in the ballet. White tutu on. Really very iconic. She's down by the lake. So imagine you have a white tutu on and the white headdress as well. Okay. So, I said this is the Odette solo. So we're going to start a little bit more at the back of the room, but I'm just going to come close off with our wrists crossed. And your feet are going to be in third position with your right foot at the back to begin. and try and have your right hand underneath. We're going to use our underneath hand. We get this arm position a lot in Swan Leg. Your right hand is going to go up to that open fist, and then it's going to come down in front. And imagine all the time in Swan Leg, we're imagining that our arms are our wings. So we're taking it up and down. I'm going to repeat it 4 times. 1, and down, and 2, and down. And as we're doing that, we're going to use our feet as well. Our Batman Tonjes to second that we did at the bar. Everything that we work on in a ballet class always, has the links to the repertoire. So as you take your right hand up, your right foot is going to point to second, and then it's going to close in front into third as you lower your hand down. Other hand and foot, 1, and close, and 2, and close, and 1 more, and close. From here, we'll give our wings a little push, elbow, wrist, fingertip. We're going to open our hands up, out, and down, and we're going to go back to this crossed wrist position. But as we're opening our hands out, we're going to walk round to the right, just like we did in our port de bras, walking round. And this time, try and stop with your left foot at the back and left hand underneath. It doesn't matter too much if you do get the wrong foot. You can kind of work it so it does work out right in this dance. It's not absolutely detrimental. Go left and close, and right and close, left and close, right and close. A little push, opening your arms out, but this time as we open out, we're going to go round to the left, but instead of looping back to where we are, we're going to go up to our top left corner. So we're going to walk round and to the corner. Okay, so let's give that a go with music up to there. So we have our 4 tonjes, using your arms, a little push of your wrists, opening your arms out, looping back round just like we did in the port de bras, back to the beginning. And then we repeat it all on the other side. 4 tonjes, opening out, but instead of looping back round, we go up to the corner. And that's the first section learned there. Let's give it a go. So right foot at the back, we have 4 chords at the beginning to begin. So you've got your wrist cross and looking beautiful like swan's wings. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right foot, 1, and close. 2, and close. 3, and close. 4, and close. Little push, opening out, and we'll walk around to the right. Now try and have your left leg at the back, left hand and leg. 1, and close. 2, and close. 3, and close. 4, and close. Little push of your wrists, opening out. Let's go on to the corner. Okay, so as I've arrived in this corner now, I've got my feet in first position and my hands in demi second, just like we were talking about just before. So your hands are just a little bit in front of you. Imagine you've got on your white swan tutu and your hands are resting on the edge of your netting. So we're going to, as you're walking down, we're going to head down the diagonal now. Try and use your left leg first. It's not detrimental if you use the wrong foot, but it works out a little bit nicer. Okay, so we're going to use our left foot, walking 1, walking 2, and instead of a third walk, we're going to point our foot in front. Okay, so just how we were talking before about classical walks with your big toe leading. 1, 2, and as you point your foot in front, we're going to go back to this crossed wrist position. And from there, we're then going to push our wings slightly behind us. Now, if you want to, what you can do there is point your foot in front, and as you take your arms behind you, you can point your foot behind you. But by all means, you don't have to put that option in if you do. It's only there if you want to. So using your left foot first. 1, and 2, and point in front and behind. We'll repeat it again. 1 and 2, point in front and behind. So as I've just done that in front and behind, I lift up that left leg and use it again. 1, 2, point in front and behind. Close your feet into first. Take a full port de bras, just like we did in our port de bras. Opening your arms out to third position, just like we did in our port de bras. With your right hand in front, because you're going to walk round to the right and go up to the other corner. And we're going to repeat it exactly the same on the other side. So now we've got our right foot leading. Right and left, point in front and behind. And 1 and 2, point in front and behind. Feet into first. Port de bras your arms just like we did before. Arms go to third, walking round and up to the corner. Okay, so I wonder if we could just find that second section, please. So we're going from this second section now. Okay. So left leg. 1, 2, point in front, arms behind. 1, 2, in front and behind. Feet into first, port de bras. Arms go to third, walking round. And right foot. 1, 2, in front and behind. 1, 2, in front and behind. Feet in first, port de bras. Arms go to third, up to the corner. Okay, we're on the final section now of the dance. So our first section was where we were taking our tonjes, and we walked round, and then we repeated it again, and then we walked round up to the corner. Then we did this little section, and then we've come up to the corner. Now, our final section, music gets a little bit faster now, and you want to really kind of embody the Odette, the swan arms in this moment now. So, feet in first, we're going to sway to the right. So we're going to take a bend in second and sway over to one foot, bend and stretch. And as we do that, if you can, take your arms to third. So your arms go to third in the same direction that you're swaying towards. Okay, that's how we work it with coordination. Okay, so feet in first. So try and use your right foot first. Sway to the right, sway to the left. Now close your feet into first, and we're going to take our arms to a diagonal line, and we're going to do 2 pushes down there and 2 pushes there. Okay, so I've gone sway da 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 dum and sway da 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 da, and push and a push and a push and a push. So those arms particularly are very iconic from the moment where it's the ball and Black Swan is dancing, and all of a sudden the white swan appears at the back at the window, and she's frantically moving her arms. So we get this arm a lot in Swan Leg. So we're swaying to the side and swaying to the side, and push and a push and a push and a push. Repeat again. And a hold, and sway, and hold, and push, and push, and push, and push. Now we're going to repeat it similar, but instead of sways, we're going to take 3 walks and close into first. 1 and 2 and 3, close in first, and push, and push, and push, and push. Same again, 1 and 2 and 3, feet in first. Now it's our ending. Your arms are going to swoop towards the back of the room. They're going to circle round, and they'll finish off. I'll just move back a little bit so you can see. If I put my arms in fifth and turn one hand away, just lean over a little bit more, and that's your ending position there. We have that a lot in Swan Leg, particularly like the dancers standing at the side of the stage. You know, you'll see their arms in that position. So we're taking our arms around and over, and that's your ending. So there you go, we've just learnt a little bit of Swan Leg Odette solo. We'll have a go at this ending section. So up to the corner where we're in our sways, in our frantic swan arms. Sways again, using it again, and then we go into the walking section. Okay. Okay, so try and use your right foot to sway to the right, to the right, to the left, and push, and push, and sway, and sway, 2 pushes, walking, 1, 2, 3, and push, 1, 2, 3, just circling your arms around, and finish. Okay, let's try it now from the very beginning. Don't forget that although this is a live class that is going out as we speak, you can always access these sessions back afterwards. I'm sure that the Virtual Village Hall will put a link on afterwards. You can access them. You can access all my previous classes as well. I always like to theme them around a ballet. I've done sessions on Paquita, Don Quixote, Sleeping Beauty, Nutcracker, lots of different themed ballets. So have a look. Like I said, I'm sure they'll put it in the comments afterwards, a link to all my previous classes. But anytime you want to, you know, you can have a go at again at this repertoire, and so you can really get to grips with learning Odette solo. Let's go from the very beginning now. So right foot at the back and wrists crossed. So we're waiting for these 4 counts. Right foot, 1, and close, 2, and close, 3, 4, and little push of your arms. And opening out, we're going to walk round to the right. Left and 1, 2, 3, 4, and pushing. And opening out, now going up to the top corner. Now it's the walking section with the little pushes. And 1, 2, push in front and behind. 1, 2, push in front and behind. Feet into first, full port de bras, arms up just like we did in our port de bras before. And walking round. Right foot. 1, 2, in front and behind. 1, 2, in front and behind. Feet into first, arms opening out, and going up to the corner now. Ready for your ending. Time for the sways. Sway, sway, push, push, sway, sway. It's the walks. 1, 2, 3, push. One last time. Circle your arms round. Good. Okay, we're just going to finish off with a cool down and curtsy now. So just following along with the cool down. When it gets round to the curtsy, we'll have our hands in demi-second, putting 1 foot at the back. So we want to put it ideally on the ball of your foot, taking a little bend and back into first. If you don't like having 1 foot on the ball of your foot, you can always pop your feet into third and just take a little bend with your knees. If you have any men joining today, I hope you can always turn our Swan Leg dance into more of a Matthew Bourne style Swan Leg. If you have any gentlemen, you can always take a bow at this moment. Okay, so we'll start off with our feet together. This is just an opportunity just to really just bring our breathing back down to normal, really just focusing on our breath and just relaxing. And breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. your bow. Okay, just walking around your room just like we did at the beginning. Keep thinking about your breathing and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay. Okay, thank you so much everybody for joining us today. I'll go through afterwards and have a sort through and have a look at the comments. Like I say, if you've got any questions, just pop them into the comments and I'll answer afterwards. I really hope that you've enjoyed the class today, that you've enjoyed learning a little bit of Swan Leg. I hope to see you soon. I'm normally in the Virtual Village Hall about once a month, so just keep an eye out on the weekly schedule updates and you'll see when I'm next in for my Silver Swans classes. Okay, thank you very much everybody, and I hope to see you next time.